G'day guys, it's Mark here from North Oz, and in today's video we're going to be having a discussion about how much money I make from YouTube having nearly 2,000 subscribers. We're going to be diving into all the analytics of my channel so you guys will be able to see how many views I get, how many subscribers I get, and all that stuff. So I'm really interested in this topic. I've watched a lot of other YouTubers out there to see how much money they make, how many subscribers they get, how many views they get, all that stuff. I find it really interesting. So I thought I would contribute to the discussion. So maybe it might help other people out there, or maybe if you're just curious, it might, cure that curiosity of yours. So to give you a little bit of context about what the North Oz channel is all about, it's basically categorized as automotive. So I have a build series for a lot of the vehicles that I work on. So I've got my Toyota Land Cruiser Prado that I do work on. I've got my Subaru Impreza WRX that I'm doing work on. And I've also done some travel stuff as well, some outdoorsy type camping stuff too. It's all stuff that I'm interested in basically. So that's a little bit about the channel. So about me, my name is Mark Fernandez and I am a teacher. I teach full-time and I do YouTube as my hobby. So I obviously love tinkering, working on cars, going outside, running around the bush, doing that sort of stuff. So I just kind of film that sort of stuff and hopefully there's a few people out there that enjoy what I do. So that's kind of a little bit about me. I'm not doing YouTube full time, so it gives you a bit of an idea as well in terms of when we're looking at these analytics, you'll see a bit of a pattern in terms of how often I'm able to upload and stuff like that. So keep that in the back of your mind as we are looking through these analytics. So starting at the home page, we can see that I've got 1,909 subscribers. In the last 28 days, I've had nearly 31,000 views, nearly 2,000 hours of watch time, and I've had 235 subscribers join us. So welcome to those people, of course. And our estimated revenue, which is just a rough guide, is $222 and some change. So it gives you a little bit of a rough idea of what we're looking at. You can see that my latest video performance, which I uploaded yesterday morning, I've got 106 views, which is down a little bit on average. It's one of my lower performing videos, but it wasn't one of the ones that I would do normally. I normally do a Toyota video, or I normally do something a little bit different. But it still had good view duration as well. So that one there is more of a how-to guide. So I'd expect that one to do well, maybe over a long period of time as people want to do that project. So that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea really roughly about how much I make. Of course, down the bottom here, we have got a content section, which is where I spend quite a bit of time. You can edit things like the description of your videos from there. You can have a quick look at some of the performance of some of your videos there as well. But what I like and what I'm interested in is the analytics section. So I'll take you over to the content page now. So it just gives you a brief idea. It tells you whether or not it's live, monetized, how many likes you have on it, and how many comments that you have on your videos as well. So if we go over to the analytics section now, you'll be able to see that we've got a whole pile of different tabs and a whole pile of different a slideshow of different graphs. So if we have a look here now, it tells us the last 28 days. You can see that I've kind of had a little bit of a dip from 28 days ago up until now. It's starting to climb back a little bit. So for me, it's quite interesting to look at because I can have a look at that and say, well, what was the reason for that? Well, the reason for that was I was doing basically 2 uploads a week for quite a while there. And then I've dropped back to just a 1 upload a week just because it's pretty busy. It's not easy to keep up a 2 upload a week schedule. So I've just dropped it back to just having 1 quality video once a week. Hopefully, as time goes on, that will change. But, for now, I'm happy to keep it just to 1 a week. And then where I can, I'll do a second upload as well. So you can see there, we've got a few different things going on there. So we'll have a look at views first. Let's go ahead and have a look at that. So that's the last 4 weeks. If I click on the very start, you can see I was getting a little bit over 2,000 views a day. And where we are now, if I click on that, I've got a little bit under 1,000 views a day, which is still a lot more than I would have thought if we compared it to the start of the year. So if we go back now, and we'll say the last 90 days, you can see that I've got a couple of really big spikes there, just from a couple of my bigger videos that I did. Started doing Prado content around there, so that started to pick up a little bit. and you can kind of see it kind of had a nice big spike, and then it's kind of dipped down. And then if we go to the last 365 days, you can see I've made quite a bit of progress from where we started with getting 100 views a day to now getting 10 times that with 1,000 views a day, and at a peak of 3,000 and a little bit more than that as well. And I've also had nearly 200,000 views in this year, so this 365 days. So now I'm just going to skip ahead now because I know that people are going to be interested in the revenue. So let me skip ahead to that. And you can see in the last 28 days, I've made a little bit over $200. So if we go over and have a look, and I'll show you the last 90 days, because what you're going to see is a very flat curve. Well, it's not really a curve. You're going to see a very big flat spot there. And that's because I wasn't monetized here. I only became monetized on the 3rd of April. So after that, I started making money. And it is quite a process doing the monetization process. It does take a while. But once you finally get there, it's good. I think hopefully in the next couple of days, I'll have my first payment, which will be good. So I can buy more mods for the car, which we'll talk about in later videos if you want to stick around for that. So last 90 days, you can see that my first few days, let me just go to my first days, was $3, and then it started going up from there. And what you'll find is if you stack these, which you can do if you have a look on the website version of this, which I very rarely use because I can see the same information just by flicking tabs on here. But if you overlay the graph, you'll actually see that as your views go up, your revenue spikes as well. And it's got a pretty strong correlation to how many views that you get. And also how long people are watching the videos for. So you can see that I did have a couple of really big spikes on my views page. And then now you can see that I've got pretty much the same sort of spikes. So on my best day on YouTube, which was on the 2nd of June, I made $23.65. Now, if I made that every day, I would be a happy young man. But obviously I don't make that every day. A more realistic average is around $8 a day if we do some quick maths. So as it is right now with like uploading once a week, you can see I kind of make anywhere between $6 to around $9. I don't really make much more than that. I don't really make much less than that. So average about $7 a day. So and I get asked this question from my students a lot. My students will ask me, how much money do I make on YouTube? And I give them the same answer. It depends, it depends on the video, the month, the day. At the moment, I'm pretty much averaging around $7 to $8 a day. Now, for some people that might not seem like a lot, but if you average that out over a week, it's about $50 a week. So it's not bad, that's pretty good. And if I was doing YouTube and I was a lot younger, $50 a week was pretty much how much I was making doing a shift a week, working at places like Macca's, and also I used to do tennis coaching, so I used to make $50 for a whole morning of coaching and work. So kind of as it is right now, $50 to me working full time isn't a huge amount. But if I was younger, $50 would be quite a lot. So I'd much rather spend that time, doing things that I enjoy. Not that I don't enjoy tennis and coaching. I did enjoy that, of course, but doing something a little bit different. So it's not just always the one thing all the time can be good, and you're learning different skills with the video editing and, the photography and the videography as well. So for people that are out there and they're just learning, $50 a week is a really good is probably a really good little wage, and if you're someone like me that works full time, having that $50 a week is just, I know that I've got $50 a week that I can spend on, say, car parts, or I can spend on working up towards a new camera or a new camera lens or a new microphone. So I've been spending quite a lot of money on this car lately to get things like suspension and stuff done on it, and also saving up for a respray on the car. So for me, all the money that I make on YouTube just goes straight back into the car anyway. So you can kind of see there how much money that I've made in the last 90 days, and you'll see that I've made $557.83 in total. So if that's all you came here for, then that's great. But if you want to go ahead and have a look at a few of the other things that we can find on here on the analytics, then stick around. So we've got some of the top earning content as well. By far my most popular video has been the flat tailgate versus wheelback Prado. That's had like 50,000 views and I've made $60 from that. So that's kind of a bit of a good gauge for you. You can multiply it up or down from there. You know, on 50,000 views, I've made $60. So, you know, we're talking about, what's that, around 11-ish dollars, 12-ish dollars per 10,000 views, which when you put it like that, it doesn't really sound like a lot. But where you have to understand, well, you know, I'm starting to make money as well doing this, is by having searchable content. So because, and I'm of course by no means an expert, I've been monetized for 2 months, but this is what kind of like my plan was, is I'm kind of an educational YouTube channel. So I do stuff to my cars, I document it, and I'm detailed and I'm thorough, and then you guys can then copy it if you like. So there is information there, and the information is valuable for people out there that are looking for it. So I do have searchable content in my channel. So as time goes on and more people start searching for the content, you know, I'll slowly get those views and they'll slowly trickle in. As opposed to me saying, watch me blow up my WRX and, you know, I set it on fire or whatever, and it obviously don't do that, but it's just an example. But if I set my car on fire and said, watch me blow it up, and it got, say, you know, 500,000 views, that would probably have a really short spike in terms of views. It's not really searchable content. So people will find my channel, hopefully anyway, over a period of time by searching up things about their Prado, about their WRX, about their motorbike, camping sites, things like that. So gives you a bit of an idea. You can go into a whole pile of detail in this in terms of ads, how much money you make from certain ads. So skippable video ads I make the most on, and non-skippable video ads I make the next most on. And then from there it's bumper ads. So there's little things that show up at the bottom of your screen if you're on desktop, and then down the side. Unfortunately, I don't make any money on the people that use ad blocker. So if that's something that you do and you want to have a way to pay creators without spending any money, then just turn off your ad blocker or use a browser that doesn't have an ad blocker on it. And that's what I do as well, because it kind of, you know, keeps the creators paid as well, especially people that rely on it for full time, of course. And letting the ads run through, I hear as well, makes quite a difference. So you can see here as well, so we talked about the estimated revenue that I have, and then here's the RPM. So if we go into what that means, there should be a little thing there. It's revenue per mil, so it just means like per 1,000 views. So if you have a look there, it says that I'm making around $7.24 per 1,000 views. So if you kind of, you know, match that up to how many views I get on my channel, I'm making about $7 a day on my channel. So it kind of makes sense that I'm getting 1,000 views. So I'm kind of hovering around there. You can see as it is right now, you know, my revenue per 1,000 has kind of dipped a little bit, probably due to different videos doing well at different times. Each video that you make will have like a certain value attached to it. Depending on who is doing the advertising on your channel, on that video, it all depends. And I don't completely understand it, and there's a lot of people that are experts out there that completely don't understand it either. So I'm just telling you what basically I've heard from doing as much research about the topic as possible. And then you've got a playback based CPM, so that's cost per mil, and that's basically how much money I would make without people taking cuts, no ad blockers and stuff like that. So it's kind of like your pre-tax and your post-tax kind of, I guess, if you want to think of it like that. So the RPM is something that I'd keep an eye on as well, just make sure it doesn't dip too low. Or if I have a really, really sharp spike, I'll probably have a look and see, you know, why was that high? You know, did I make a slightly different video? Was there a slightly different content to it? Was it a different category? You know, things like that. So that's pretty much most of that revenue tab that is interesting anyway. And yeah, and then we've got all the different types of ads. And so the YouTube analytics do tell you about which top geographies, so which top countries give you the most money, so the cost per mil. Now I've actually had some weird ones here. So I've had a lot of African countries that have done quite well for whatever reason. I think it might be because of my Land Cruiser videos. So for whatever reason, at one point there, they were almost twice of what Australia and the United States were paying. But you can see my biggest payers are Australia, United States, Canada, New Zealand. And then you've got some European countries in there as well. They pay the most, apparently, for my channel. That gives you a bit of an idea about what, what I'm looking at in terms of how much money I make. If we go ahead and have a look at our audience, it's kind of interesting. You can kind of see we have mostly, as the videos come out, there's pretty much almost a parallel difference, a parallel trend with my returning viewers compared to my new viewers. So that's also interesting as well. The views kind of follow the curve as the videos are released to you guys on your news feed as well. And in terms of unique viewers, you can kind of see every time you upload a new video, especially a more popular video, you will get a spike in unique viewers, so different viewers each time. And you can see that just gives you an idea of your subscriber count. If you want to see how many subscribers I've gained in the last 4 weeks, so I've gained 235. In the last 3 months, I've gained 1,100. And over the last year, I've gained 1,600. So you can see I've gained, in the last, 90 days, I've gained more than 2/3 of my subscribers. So obviously, as time goes on, I'm hoping anyway, as time goes on, the subscriber count will kind of gradually go up. So it should be an exponential growth, but we'll see what happens. It might plateau a little bit because I'm only doing 1 upload a week, but it's all experimental, guys. That's the thing at the end of the day, is it's a lot of experimenting, and I don't want to overwork myself either. And I want these videos, and I want to enjoy making these videos. I want these videos to do well over a period of time. I don't need the clickbaity stuff going on the channel. That's not what I'm about. So and there is a lot of good information out here. So you can see that there are other videos that other people have watched. So you can see that a lot of the people that watch my videos watch Ronnie Dahl, 4X Overland, Fire to Fork, 4x4 Diesel, and Tyler Thompson, which is pretty cool because those are pretty much my favorite YouTubers. So that works out pretty well. And all the different channels as well are pretty much all car related channels too. And yeah, that's pretty much all the analytics, guys. Going into the content and stuff, you can see which ones are your top videos for periods of time. So you can go in and change all that. So for the last 28 days, obviously my most popular one, like I said, was the comparison video of the 2 Prados. So that's got 10,000 views in the last month, which is kind of interesting. People like to see, the differences between 2 different vehicles, which makes sense. And yeah, and that's pretty much it. I can also have a look at my shorts as well. So all the, not shorts that I wear, but the YouTube shorts. So you can see here that, I don't make many YouTube shorts. I've made like 2, but you can see that, I've had like, 3 or 4 views every day on them. I don't get any money out of that anyway, but it is a good way for people to find you, but I just don't have enough time to make YouTube shorts, and probably TikTok is probably a better way anyway to try to make, get your content out there and direct them to your YouTube. But again, I just don't have enough time to make content, TikTok content as well. Yeah, and so that's almost it. And you can kind of do quite a bit from here. You can change things like descriptions and titles, and so the YouTube Studio is a pretty powerful little tool. You can also comment and reply to comments on here. So that pretty much concludes most of my analytics. I'm not too sure what else you guys would want to see on here. I think I've pretty well gone through everything, so I'll stop that recording now. And I think that's pretty much everything. My only advice, if you're someone out there that you are thinking about doing a YouTube channel and you're not too sure, have a think about, do you enjoy what it is? If you're passionate about it, then do it. It doesn't matter about the analytics, about the views, about the subscribers. For me, like when I'm looking at the different YouTubers and I look at their content, I think, oh, I reckon my content is so much better. Of course, we all like to compare. It's not healthy. You just need to worry about what you're doing, you know, and that's something that I remind myself about every time I get in front of the camera. I always think about, you know, am I just concentrating on what I want to do? And I would always put out a poll to the people on my YouTube channel. I'll say, hey, do you want to see this on the channel? Do you want to see that? And, you know, part of it is interest, but also part of me is I don't want to upset my subscribers, you know, but something that you have to understand is that my subscribers came to me because of stuff that I was just doing that I enjoy. So I'm going to keep doing that. And my advice to you guys is to do the same, is to find something you enjoy doing. If you feel like that making videos about it won't ruin that passion for it, then do that. If you enjoy the learning and then the teaching aspect of it, then maybe you could provide some interest in that as well. So for me, I know nothing about cars, but I'm learning about it. And then I, you know, then kind of go through the steps on camera to show you guys. So, you know, if you're someone that wants to go down that path, or you have, you know, really unique idea, you're a lot smarter than me and you can, you know, blow up a lot quicker than I can, then, you know, go ahead and do that, guys. Like you can't really go wrong. Like, as long as you're, you know, doing the right thing on the channel, you're not doing things like clickbaiting and you're not upsetting people and doing all that stuff. Like, you know, you can't really go wrong. Just pick something that's positive, pick something that you think is going to contribute well to, you know, society, whether it's an entertainment value or, you know, an educational value or whatever it is. Of course, I'm going to be looking through that lens, but, you know, find something that you enjoy doing. That's the most important thing. And if you guys can do that, then you'll be pretty happy, I think. In terms of, like, you know, so a lot of people think, oh, you must make a lot of money out of YouTube. You know, you've got 2,000 subscribers, almost, not yet. I won't, no early celebration compilation yet. But, you know, I have 2,000 subscribers. You know, you can look at heaps of things that tell you how much your channel is worth and how much money and how many views you get, and people have a look at that and they'll say, oh, you have 30,000 views, you have 40,000 views a month, you know, you must be making quite a bit of money. But the reality is you don't really make a lot of money off it unless you're doing other things as well on the side, like, you know, you have partnership deals. And, you know, it's just the way that it is that I've rung up, you know, pretty much every single big automotive brand in Australia, and they really don't even give discounts. Like, that's the cold hard truth of it, is that unless you're in like a really, really small niche, and I would consider, like, you know, Prado stuff and, you know, WRX stuff, I would consider that as being quite a niche topic, because I've pretty much seen almost every WRX build out there on YouTube run out of ones to watch. And so I would have thought that, you know, contacting people about that or about Prados would be, you know, a pretty big niche, but, you know, there's just not a lot of room for sponsorships and that sort of stuff. And, you know, that holds true up until, I think, people that are like really, really have a lot of subscribers. You know, people that have, you know, 100,000, 200,000 subscribers, you know, they obviously have built a reputation over a period of time. So all I'm trying to say is don't expect to get free things from YouTube. If it happens, great. You know, try to build those relationships, which I'm trying to do now. I'm still, you know, in talks with a couple of companies, and, you know, just trying to get something to happen. It's not easy to do, but I'm just trying to build a relationship, and hopefully I can help out certain companies and they can help me out. So try to approach it from a point of view that, you know, you can help them, and maybe at some point they can help you as well. But don't expect free things is definitely something that I would recommend, but also don't do YouTube for the money. I started the channel kind of curious to see how much money I could make doing stuff that I enjoy, and I'm not really shocked. Like, I kind of expected that I would make $2-3 grand a year, and the money that I make on that I will put into new cameras and into car parts. Definitely a lot more than $3 grand into car parts, but anyway, but I'll be spending that money into car parts and camera gear and stuff anyway. So, and I guess over time, you know, hopefully the production quality gets better as I learn. Hopefully the edits will take a quicker amount of time. Even a video like this will probably end up taking me about 8 hours to 10 hours to edit. even though it's quite simple, just me talking to the camera. By the time, you add in chopping out all the mistakes that I make, and, and also the upload time and exporting time. My computer isn't super fast either, so, it does take a little bit of time to export things. So I would definitely say that if you're someone that, you're not too sure if you want to get into YouTube, don't do it for the money. Make sure it's something that you enjoy, and just enjoy the process. It's all learning experience, and all the skills that you learn doing this will help you at some point. And if you guys have any comments or questions about what we've talked about in this video, please let me know. If I missed something out and you have a question that you would like to ask me, chuck it in the comments below. I'm more than happy to answer that. But this was supposed to be a very open book. It kind of frustrates me when I watch some YouTubers and they show you, how much money I make, and they'll tell you how much they make, and they'll show you the little graph, but they'll blur everything else out. So I've got nothing to hide. So I thought I'll just share that with you guys, and you can kind of get an idea of how many views and stuff I make, and hopefully that will encourage more people to share their analytics with more people, and we can all learn and we can all grow. That's pretty much my message if you're someone who would like to do something similar as well. Guys, that's pretty much it in terms of regular content coming out. Subaru build is continuing. Prado build is continuing. There's probably going to be a couple of camping videos coming up in the next couple of months. That's pretty much it. So if you guys, like I said, have any questions, make sure you ask them. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for joining me if you are new here.